Star in Frisco, and welcome to Talkin Cowboys. And I'm going to stop with the intro and just go ahead and get started right away. We've got a special guest inside the SWBC Mortgage Studio, the Hall of Famer, the NFL's all-time leading rusher, Emmitt Smith, taking a few minutes to join us. Thank you for joining us, sir. We appreciate it.
Oh, what's up?
Nate's got a big net. He's been just grabbing people and bringing them in here for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, this is actually my second time at
That's
the
right.
facility,
You called.
so.
Well, you called in once for us, so this is where we were sitting when you talked to us.
I mean, y'all have such nice, attire up here. I may have to come hang out a little bit longer.
Well, you know what? You are
Anytime.
any time. As a matter of fact, last week we had Stephen Jones on. He didn't even know this was here. I said, "You built the place." I said, "You never walked by." He goes, "I didn't know it was working."
He has a mansion, hasn't been in every room yet. That's all that is.
Well, what are you doing here
I was doing some stuff over, some more video stuff for the Jumbotron. So
for the game on Sunday? You'll
yeah,
be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't missing that.
I'm
right?
dressing on Sunday.
Are you? Yeah.
Well, he sure dressed up for us, didn't he? Nate, what are you doing? Social media over there? Did you know Nate was all over that stuff?
Big Nate looking good over there, man. You still pumping iron?
Just cardio, Emmitt.
Cardio?
Just cardio.
Yeah.
Just cardio.
I was on my Peloton this morning riding for about 45 minutes.
So you're still doing that, huh?
Yeah. I got to do a little bit of something. I got to stay tight and fight and right. You know what I'm saying? So I got to keep my fighting rate weight up.
So how many? You ride with a bunch of guys?
No, I actually did it in the house.
Oh, you did it?
Yeah,
okay. Because the last time you told me you were riding.
Yeah,
with
I have
some
a
guys.
Peloton in the house. So I ride in the house, and especially in this kind of weather, it's so inconsistent. And there's a lot of road construction now. I got to figure out routes and all those kind of things now. So it just makes sure I'm safe.
Well, this is pretty exciting, isn't it? Cowboys back in the playoffs, and
Man, it is really, really exciting. This city, this nation, to be honest with you, is buzzing about the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody's talking about the Cowboys from East Coast to West Coast. Whether or not you like the other teams or not, the subject and the topic is about our Cowboys. It's about our two rookies, and it's about how well we're playing collectively as a ball club. And that's a beautiful thing to say. It's been a long time since we've seen this type of consistency of the whole entire team. And to see them playing so well is a true testament to, obviously, Jason Garrett and the coaching staff and those guys buying into the system.
so one of the things I think everybody's trying to talk about now is the fact that Dak, Zeke, be playing in their first playoff game. Mm-hmm. You remember your first playoff game, what it was like? Were you ready for it? Did you get ready for it?
Get ready. I mean, you're born ready for these moments. These games are no different. Just a little bit of focus on. All you have to do is just stay focused on your task at hand and what you've been doing for 16 games already. You just go out there and maybe you hold the ball maybe a tad bit tighter. Maybe you work on and spend the bye week working on some of the fundamentals that you started to allow to slip away, and you bring those things back into focus. But running, blocking, and tackling is not going to change. And so do you study a little bit more? Maybe you do. But if you already know what the defensive fronts look like, I mean, it's not rocket science. I mean, you just got to identify the mic and let everything else set itself, and then you go from there. And then you beat the man that's in front of you. Right, Nate?
One-on-one, baby. Like Jimmy say, man.
That's what Nate's been saying for a couple weeks.
Individual, you have your individual competition. Everybody has their own battle. In Emmitt, I remember one time, I got to tell a story. I say, we were struggling. The offensive line was kind of struggling. So when we struggling, that's going to make M look bad. So I turn around and try to be smart. Hey, Emmitt, maybe if you run like this, he said, man, just block your man. I see color. Just move the man.
Just get on your guy, stay on your guy.
Yeah,
if you miss him, if you miss him, don't look back. Go to the next guy. Don't look back, because what happens, I see it happens quite a bit. When somebody make a mistake and they miss a guy, they have the tendency to look back. And when they look back, the running back is running smack dead into him. And so I'm like, don't look back, turn around, find the next guy. Let me make this first guy miss. I can make one guy miss. I can't make 10. I can't make 10, but I can make one miss.
Well, you talked about it's just football, even for these young guys, talking about Dak and Zeke. And you joined us a few weeks into the season. You were obviously impressed with what they were doing. Mm-hmm. How do you put their body of work, how do you put into context what they've done so far through 16 games?
To me, I think they've done exactly what was expected of them from me. Mm-hmm. Anybody, next man up. I expect you to perform like a professional. Zeke performed like a professional all year long. Dak has performed like a professional all year long. So even though you want to classify these guys as rookies, these are football players. These are athletes. They know what they're doing. And it's a true testament for Dak because of the transition from college to pros is not easy. I don't know if they teach you how to read coverages in colleges. I'm looking at the college football game last night, Alabama Clemson game. I'm looking at the quarterbacks, and I'm seeing Jalen Hurd over, and I'm like, he has yet to learn how to read coverages, and I can see that. But with Dak, I saw Dak play in college, and I saw that he had the ability to find the matchups, the one-on-one matchup, and that takes a lot of the ability to be able to read coverages and know where the guy or how to find the guy that you need to throw the ball to. And so I believe that his skill set would translate more at the professional level than most people would give him credit for.
And these guys have been in some big-time college games, right?
In the SEC, you're in big-time college games just about every week. And at Ohio State, you're playing big-time college games, whether it's Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, or anybody else in that era, Wisconsin and so forth. So you playing teams, and then once you get into the playoff, you playing quality ball clubs. You done played against Alabama and some other schools too, Oregon. So they have been in big games, and this is a little bit different. But I would tell them right now, it's no different than any other game that you played. You're just playing it at a higher level, and you've proven that you deserve to be here, and you've earned the right to be here. So don't worry about nothing else. Just do you and let everything else fall in place.
Because what you can truly understand is Jimmy, regardless of the Super Bowl run, regardless of earning our careers when we was not barely missing the playoffs, the routine stayed the same. Mm-hmm. And speak on how your routine was, a week routine for Emmitt Smith from day one, how you came in and started taking care of yourself and your mind, body, and soul.
Right. Well, my routine it grew. It got better and better. But the foundation was already laid because Jimmy Johnson made one thing perfectly clear. We're going to outwork anybody in the National Football League. And that began during the offseason. Training was paramount. The other part was when we got on the football field, we're going to out-physical everybody on the football field. That was paramount. And so in order to do those things, the third piece, which was the most important piece, you had to know what the hell you was doing. So that's the only way you stay on the football field. And then on top of that, when you take all those three, performance. And that was part of the routine. Now, how you take care of yourself outside of the game, during the game, that is something that we all had to learn. And I had my own routine because I had a chiropractic when I was in high school. I had massages a little bit when I was in college. So I brought some of those things. And plus, I reached out to veterans, Walter Payton, Dorsett, many others, to figure out how they were taking care of their bodies. And I needed to implement that kind of thing into my system. And so I started getting my massages on Mondays to flush out the lactic acid and the build up from the day before game. And then on Fridays, I would do another 2-hour massage just to flush out everything that was lingering over for the rest of the week and try to get my body just right. And I was making sure that I was drinking plenty of water, trying to eat right, trying not to drink too much, trying to leave the streets alone.
Right.
You had to learn how to do those things because the streets was calling every night. It was like Pookie and dog, what's his name? Mama, this is calling me. And so but you had to learn the discipline to how to put those things in certain boxes. And the one thing I never, ever wanted to do was allow the streets to control my career. Period.
Or the yacht in Miami.
Or the yacht in Miami. We weren't even thinking about yachts at that time.
I'll tell you a quick story. Remember we was trying to do that thing with the wall, us 4 or 5 linemen, and this was at the beginning. We had success against that one playoff year, and we got handled by Detroit.
Got smashed.
Yeah, so
91.
we tried to come out with this wall thing. And Jimmy, this one time I had to handle the coach. He handled it so smooth. He said, fellas, I'm not telling you that you're not deserving of this. He said, well, fellas, just think if we can do better this year, and then you come with it. how much bigger it would be. He handled it real smooth because he didn't tell us like, nah, because Jimmy always believed if you work hard, you can play hard.
Exactly.
But he said, you know what, if y'all just just think about it, how much better it would be if you all would just have a better year. We went on to that first Super Bowl. We came up with the ball. We did all right.
Hey, I mean, that was Jimmy's. That was his deal, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a way of balancing things out. And obviously, he wanted you to work hard, but yet he appreciated the wins just as much as anybody else, and he wanted us to appreciate our victories as well. And so I appreciated that about our coach because he was a fair guy. He expected a lot of you, but shouldn't you expect a lot of yourself?
Right.
Yeah. Do you guys remember the feeling when you walked out to Soldier Field in '91 for that first playoff game for
Yeah, it was
both
cold.
of you?
It was cold.
Wow. The thing that I liked about Emmitt, Mike, Troy, Haley when he got here, these guys, we never had to worry about the tone being set. They walked in the building, and I was going to say these dogs, I don't want to go back to the old school. These young men walked in with the right mind. We never had to wonder what was Emmitt doing. We knew he was either in there getting a massage, in there messing with Joe Brodsky, getting ready for a film. We had to worry about what Darryl Johnson. And that's what I was trying to say, and I'm going a round way about it. That is what Jimmy promoted. And I asked Coach Johnson one time, I said, well, Coach, man, how do you decide, who's the right guy? He said, I try to look at how a guy, if he's going to be one of my leaders, how he handles himself. I talk to the other coaches. How does he prepare during the week? A lot of times, Emmitt didn't have to talk about what he was doing because we could see it. Same with Troy. And people say, what Mike did outside of this deal, that's one thing, but never was he questioned. And that's what I think Jason has put in place with Sean Lee, with Jason Witten, now with Dak. Mm-hmm. You don't have to ask what these guys are doing with other players. And I'm not saying, I put it like this, not as talented as these guys. I don't want to say that they're lesser guys, but when the guys and I call myself a grunt, when I saw as a grunt that what my man was doing, I had no other choice.
Did you go get massages?
No. I just went and looked at film.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's how leadership is built. That's how teams are forged. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, I had to look Troy in the face. I had to look Michael in the face. I had to look Nate. I had to look our whole offensive line and Darryl Johnson, guys that were actually doing what they're supposed to do. And they were looking me in the face, too, and expecting me to show up every week. There was no way I could look another man in the eye and let him down.
Yeah.
And to me, that is the chemistry that you strive to build for every team and every organization. And so the beautiful thing about watching this ball club, and here's what I love about what Tony Romo did this year. You talk about chemistry. Dak came in when Tony went down, and this team has not missed a beat. They have, first of all, when he went down, they rallied behind the next man up, which happened to be a rookie.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in doing such, that rookie met their expectations. And therefore, he gained a great deal of respect there. And so by being able to perform on a consistent basis, week in and week out, take care of the football, and also having that beast of a running back behind him and the series of other running backs behind him, that right there in that offensive line, woo! When you put those pieces of the puzzle together, and what Tony did that was so beautiful was he didn't mess with the chemistry. As much as people wanted to tear at this team, he took the leadership role and went and tackled it head on and said, this is his team.
Is leading in a different way.
He is leading in a different way.
Without being in the huddle.
If society took the lesson that he delivered, we'll have a better country than what we have right now.
Boy, hey, your local congressman, hey, I'm working on that.
I'm just simply saying. I mean,
let me
there's
tweet
a lot
that out.
Because he could have been a distraction.
He could have been a distraction.
It's eating at him too, right?
Oh, he wants to play. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
Trust me. And he can play. He's proven that in the game against Philly. He can play. He can play. Question in everybody's mind is how long. That's the only thing. But the only way you see that is to put him in the game and allow him to do his thing.
Right.
But he can play. There's no doubt about it. But he understands there's no I in team. There's only we.
Yes.
and us. And that in itself is great leadership by a veteran quarterback like Tony Romo.
Do you guys realize what you guys did in 91, 92, getting into the playoffs? It's like it was the rebirth of those teams in the 70s. All those guys' names came up, and now it's coming back, right?
Yeah.
What's happening now, bringing back, everybody's going back to the 90s now, going, I think we got something going. Now, you got to win a game to qualify it, but it's kind of a neat turnaround that everybody's name's coming back up.
Correct. I mean, think about it this way. If the Cowboys was not in the playoff right now, I probably wouldn't be sitting right here right now.
Right.
We might not be sitting here either.
but you're absolutely correct, Nick.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting down with Jock Jones in my office this morning, and we're looking at tape of Zeke, and we're having a conversation about what I'm seeing on the football field from this running back. What is he doing? And I'm describing everything from my perspective of what's going on. And it's all because of the performance that this team and this organization has had this year. And so those kind of things, you're right, it brings back those 1991, 92, 93, 94, 95 teams for the topic of conversation in today's world. And there are a bunch of 5- and 6-year-old guys and girls out there that don't really know Nate or myself. Well, someone might know me from Dancing with the Stars,
right?
But they never knew I played football.
Boy, I tell you, that humble self-promotion. But anyway,
I learned that from y'all.
I tell you, when I see one of these guys through good or bad, man, it just touches me, because for me to be an older guy and had went through all those bad seasons. And I want you to speak on this. And then we had Mike came, then Troy came, then Emmitt came. Then we had Eric, Moose, Stepnoski, and Tony Tolbert come. It was over a 2.5-year period. We infused all this youth, man. And these guys with their youth and our old rough and grittiness, me, Mark Tournay, guys like that, because Gogan came with that group. But now that youth came quicker for them in 2 players. It took us a minute because we were a much older team, because Ed, Randy, and all those guys, man. Now, my question was, did y'all have any fear coming into the league?
No fear. It was just a matter of, and to your point, but I want to just say this team was not far away, though, Nate.
Right.
They really weren't. We really weren't that far away, because 2 years ago, we should have been going to the NFC Championship game.
Right.
So we really weren't that far away. And then last year, we had some fluky stuff happen.
Yes.
You lose your starting quarterback, you lose your starting wide receiver, and you have a rash of injuries. And so people quickly wrote us off. But when you infuse that youth again, everything get rejuvenated. And it's a new season, it's a new time, and it's a new era. And no, I didn't have a fear. Matter of fact, the day I got drafted, before I came to Dallas, my pops told me this. He said, "You're going to make that team better." I'm like, "Why you say that, Dad?" I'm like, "They won at 15. How much better can?" He said, "No, you're going to make them better because you're going to have all of the pieces that you did not have at the University of Florida. You're going to have a quarterback. You're going to have wide receivers, and you're going to have your O-line, and you're going to make them better." He told me that. And my dad hardly ever says anything, but when he says something, it's pretty much profound. He also told me this my rookie year, before the season even got started. He said, "Son, keep everything of yours, because you never know where your place in history is going to be." So I started keeping all the touchdown footballs. And I started keeping my uniforms, my helmets, and everything, because I rarely would trade anything away, because I was chasing after history anyway.
Right.
And so it's those things that you don't be afraid of. You just try to figure out, how do you fit in this equation, what you need to learn so you can be on this football field first, second, and third down.
And that was your rookie year, was one of the biggest turnarounds this team had ever experienced till now. That was a 6-game turnaround in 90. This is a 9-game turnaround, more wins. So
yes,
they outdid you.
And what I was trying to point to was the fact that we had players, but it took y'all youthfulness, and then Norv Turner, because we had the offensive line,
Right.
but we went through like 2 or 3 offensive coordinators before we got Norv.
Right. Well, I went through one.
Yeah, you
I
went through one. Right.
Y'all,
Yeah, I
don't
went
know,
through 2.
I don't know who was the coordinator in '89.
Yeah. Okay, we had Dave.
Dave was there.
Dave Schuler
and then
came with Jimmy.
David Schuler was there
Right.
my rookie year.
And then we had
After that, we went straight to Norv.
yeah.
Right,
yeah.
but there was the quarterback coach was helping with the offense in '89.
Right.
Jerry Rome.
Yeah.
He was kind of helping out. So you got Dave Shula in his second year. I'll never forget this.
Brother.
I forgot which game. I think it was at L.A. Rams. No, it was the game before the L.A. Rams, and you carried the ball maybe 6 or 7 times. And you probably remember saying this. And somebody asked you about your performance, and he goes, "Well, you know what? If they expect me to rush for 100 yards, I just need more than 5 carries."
Exactly.
Wow,
Exactly.
And the next game, Jimmy told me, he said, "I'm going to have a talk with Dave because we got to get Emmitt the ball." And you didn't get that many more carries against the Rams, like 10 or 12, but they threw you about 5 passes, and you guys actually won a game, beat the Rams, and you started coming on. Because at that point, you were 3-7.
Right.
And you got to 7-7 until Troy got hurt.
Right.
And then Babe had to play. I like to rub that in, too.
Wow, man. Babe was an exciting guy. He was talking then, he's talking now.
Hey man, my fondest memory of Babe is not a great memory, but I felt for Babe. We played Atlanta last
Do
game
not
of the season.
talk about it.
We played our last game of the season, and Babe, we played in the white tops and
right.
the Cowboy normal colors.
Right. Wow.
And man, the front of Babe's jersey was about as white as this table. And the back of his jersey was about as dark as it could possibly be.
It rained.
It rained.
Miserable. It was cold.
They blitzed us.
Oh,
Yeah.
They blitzed us.
man.
And blitzed us. And Babe just, bless his heart, what he sees now up in the booth, he could not see that day.
I think Babe had a hard time reading coverages that day.
Oh, man, he had a very, because, man, it seemed like they was always, if we did get them blocked, they would have one more
guy. They had more guys than we could block.
I mean,
I could remember thinking it was like the worst game plan ever. It was just awful. And you know what happened after the game? And by the time we finished working, we had to walk to our cars, pouring down rain. I mean, just got soaked. And I said, okay, this is one last kick in the after the back of the season. It's like we need to take a break here. Yeah. The boss man says we need to take a break. He must need Emmitt.
No, we need for him to come in and take a picture too.
Well, let's take a break and then take
break, man, because he rushing me and I'm gonna rush him.
And I gotta go.
Yeah, he got.
All right,
I got other things to do.
Well, you could have stayed here and talked all day.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing him in, boss.
Thank you guys.
Emmitt Smith,
the great Emmitt Smith on Talkin Cowboys. We'll be back in a moment.
Let's say you're a person.
The ingredients.
Fresh, never frozen, always whole, Mick.
Them vegetables and the pepperoni, what they got?
They got pork and beef, 100%. Yeah,
Percent. And when you got ingredients like that, you got better pizza and it's Papa John's.
Yes, percent.
All right.
We are on a run of guests on this show like I've never seen before.
Where does that one rank?
Right there at the top.
Absolutely.
With the Jones family.
I tell you like this
and
here.
The Stars, and we got all-time leading rusher.
See, in each
all-time leading wrestler.
Each one of these guys got a different perspective of how they saw it.
Yes,
yes. But more importantly, he said what's so sweet. By these guys winning, that brings in everybody.
Yeah.
That brings in the old, the new, and
you remember that back in the day, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, guys start Drew Pearson's.
Yeah,
around,
you want it because you like
Pearson.
that good comparison, not that bad, but that good comparison.
Yeah.
And now we go. After these guys make their run for the next 10 years, I hope, then we'll be Mick. I'm not gonna say nothing.
What are you saying?
That means Mick was back at 66. If you still around 10 more years from now, telling these same stories, I'll be like, whoa.
He'll be here. He's never gonna leave.
Think about this.
Never gonna retire.
I saw the fall, the rise,
right?
The fall.
Oh yeah,
the rise. Somewhat of a fall,
right?
And now the rise again.
Yeah, because you was back there when you started the rise in the 1960s.
Yeah,
when they came from day one, bro.
I didn't see that.
Hey, Mickey saw the Jackson
close.
5 before anybody knew who they were.
Close.
How about that?
Know that?
I did not know that.
In his high school gym,
All right.
auditorium, the Jackson 5?
Story time with Uncle Mickey, real quick. Tell us.
They were this band out of Gary, Indiana.
What year?
It had to be early 60s before they became popular. When do you think Jackson 5 became popular? Like
60s.
60, late 60s, early 70s, right?
Yeah.
So this was high school, and they played in our auditorium, and it was just like 5 guys with a kid singing from Gary, Indiana.
Wow.
And then it went from there.
Before they were
the Jackson
Them.
5. Yeah, I don't even know what they called themselves then.
That's incredible.
They might
They were they started out the Jackson 5, and
Did they start the
then
Jackson 5?
Then Mike them broke away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Mike.
didn't know. They might have just been called the Jacksons or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
You got some stories.
All right.
Well, Emmitt's got some stories too. That was a great visit with the Hall of Famer and some really good perspective on. And thank you for bringing it up. You know, that was a young Cowboys team when he was
his second year.
Second year, wasn't a rookie, but was a young player in the league and didn't have a playoff experience.
Troy's third year.
Yeah.
Michael's fourth, but he missed almost the entire year with his knee injuries. Daryl Johnson, third year.
Let me say this here. What I was saying with the Emmitt, and I agree because you talked about it all the time. We just missing players. We missed a couple of players last year, but Tui was here. I was here. Kevin Gogan. Only person was missing was Mark Stepnoski.
Step came in 89.
Yeah, everybody was basically
But your
place.
line.
Yeah, we had guys in place, and Jimmy came in because Jimmy would do. Remember, he started OTAs. Jimmy Johnson, he started OTAs.
Quarterback school.
Yeah, quarterback school he called it, and he timed everybody. He tested everybody, young, old, in between, everybody. And he had our strength coach, Mr. Ward, back then, Coach Ward, used some kind of technology and came up with a team speed. Just different angles. And Jimmy said, compared to other teams, we don't have it. We have guys that have done it. He was talking about Randy, who's a Hall of Famer. Ed Too Tall Jones should be one. We had guys like that. He said, we just a little too old.
Well, he started that transition in 89.
Yes.
Because Tom Rafferty had been the center for
That's right.
forever.
That's right.
And Stepp, towards the end of the year, he kind of moved Stepp into the starting lineup.
Yes, he did.
Same thing with Tony Tolbert and Ed. Ed Too Tall Jones had some sort of streak going, and Jimmy was going to start Tony Tolbert, and everybody made a big deal out of it. And Jimmy was like, okay. He goes, Ed'll start. And I think Ed played the first series, and then he put Tolbert in just to keep his starting streak alive. But the transition was starting to take place with the younger guys. They couldn't figure out what to do with DJ, if you remember.
Yeah.
They thought he was a fullback. They started using him as a running back. Then he got beat out, and it took him a while to establish himself as a fullback.
And I'm telling you, the big click besides those young guys, the big click was Norv Turner.
Yep.
Absolutely. And a lot of people, I think Norv got mad at me a couple of times. Troy got probably a little irritated with me because I'm not going to back off of this. As a head coach, I think with the right quarterback, Norv can be special. But I have not seen a quarterback or offense that Norv Turner could not put his eyes on for a week and in 10 days have him playing 20% better. Mm-hmm. Norv is a whisperer. And he's one of the few guys that, like Coach over here, our defensive coordinator, he's built for what he does. He's a defensive coordinator.
Can maximize what he's got.
Oh my God.
Like Rod's done.
Yes.
And see, and this was the problem back then, is Jimmy was a really good head coach.
Yes.
He was a defensive coach.
Yes, he was.
He couldn't fix the offense.
That's right.
He needed somebody, and he finally found. And Norv was like the third choice because the first two choices one guy couldn't get an interview, the other guy decided not to do it, and he was going through guys, and I'll never forget it. And you're right. They hired a guy, and he was introduced as Norval Turner.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? Oh, he's a wide receivers coach with the Rams. It's like wide receivers coach.
Because we tried for Ernie. We tried for Ernie. We tried for Ernie. And but at that time, I think Ernie was the offensive coordinator
Rams.
for the Rams.
Yeah, and Ernie told him,
hey, you should try this guy.
Yeah.
And
then everything fell in place.
Well, it's fallen in place for this group.
Yes.
In terms of the opportunity they have in front of them Sunday, divisional round against Green Bay. The number 888-855-2297. You want to give us a call at Talkin Cowboys on Twitter as well. We've got Douglas producing next door for Kent, who's working on the Finish This Fight videos.
Which are
Kent Garrison
must-see videos.
Outstanding work by our crew. Emmitt talked about Dak and Zeke and experience or lack thereof. It's really all about football. It's not so much about being in these games necessarily. It's doing the things you've done for 16 games already. And he was kind of leading me where I was going before the show started. You look at playoff experience going into this game. Aaron Rodgers does have 15 playoff games in his career under his belt. He's 9-6 in those games. All right, if you want to look at it this way, Dak and Zeke, 15 full games in the NFL period. Is that a concern? Or do you think more like along what Emmitt was saying was all they've got to do is focus on what they've done the entire season, and yeah, the season's at stake, but that's the only difference.
And go back and self-evaluate and find out the little things that you let slip as the season go on. One thing that you got to like about the playoffs, everything's becomes bigger. Interception. The only thing I think that people they don't change, but it seems like it changed. Like if Green Bay come in here trying to run the ball, that's out of character.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? If we come out and try to throw the ball 30 times in the first quarter or the first half, that's out of character. You be yourself, put a little wrinkle in here and there, a positive wrinkle at the right time, good play calling, defensive offense, and be yourself. You find out, okay, bread and butter and Clemson, they pull out of one or two things out of their package late in the game, 2 minutes left. Bama, 4 minutes. They pull. You save a little something, but you be who you are. The best team won last night. Now I'm a Bama fan, y'all know that. But the best team won, and that's what's going to happen Sunday. Who can stay true to their form and execute it and impose that will on the other team?
Because once the head coach or the coordinator starts deviating from what you did,
yes, sir,
all of a sudden, I'm guessing the players think, oh, they think this is different.
Yeah.
This is bigger.
Right.
We gotta junk it up.
Right.
And
you don't have to.
And that might have been the greatest thing that Dabo Swinney did last night. They didn't get out of character, even though they were behind 7-0, even though they were behind 14-7, they were behind 17-7. They kept doing what they do and grind it out and believed, and that's what this team needs to do, and that's what Jason has taught the whole year, right? Today, game, series, play, and don't make it bigger than it is.
And you let. And so, because I was going to start digging in on him, and I let y'all get y'all, punches in there, but I was going to start digging because what you do, as a grunt, my job and my only job is to do what's necessary for my stars to flourish. The other defensive linemen, Leon Lett, Russell Maryland, Tony Tolbert, they were great. They were great players in my eyesight. But the stud was Charles. So if we had to do something a little bit special and these guys had to suffer for a minute to get Charles going and free, that's what we did. It wasn't a democracy. It was a dictatorship. This is what we do so the whole team can flourish. My job was if we had a game where things weren't going right for Troy, and New York was great with that cover 2 stuff. They were great, putting their making it way Troy couldn't get that ball to Jay or to Mike. We just started coming out of the backfield with Emmitt. Making their linebackers, making them declare, put somebody in motion, making them declare. So we dictated to them. And if we had to run Emmitt up in there an extra 4 or 5 times, it was going to be Emmitt. Let your stars flourish. And this is where Zeke becomes big, because the Green Bay Packers fix-it guy is Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
That's it. Our fix-it guy, believe it or not, happens to be our running back. And fortunate for us, he can catch, he can block, and he can run.
He's the fix-it guy because he kind of stabilizes everything and makes it that balanced offense.
Sir.
It's not about ball control in terms of playing people away because you're scared, but it's
Preach.
Everything plays off of what Zeke's done this year.
Yeah, and now the over-the-top guy is number 88. See, long as Dak stay consistent in who he is and play within his deal, which he's shown that for 16 games, we let this animal loose in the back. Now this dude out here, number 88, becomes dangerous. And when everything get ugly, now Cole Beasley gonna cut you to death.
Sort of like Renfro last night, right?
Thank you.
Did you not see Cole Beasley in that game last night?
It does not change. You saw the big tight end. It does not change. Both tight ends, Howard and the other kid,
Leggett.
It don't change. The game is. You saw they was hitting out there last night.
Ooh.
Both teams. The game don't change, and that's what I try to tell people. I'm sitting there looking at the game, and the refs. Thank you, refs. Y'all got out of the way last night. Thank you.
So when you say the game doesn't change, you mean there's a lot physical, like there's a lot of hype around playoffs, but once it starts,
what I'm saying is
playing football, right?
The team that normally hits the hardest, hits the longest, without penalties, normally wins the game.
And seeing all this worry about these young guys, and I keep saying, what did we hear before the first game of the year? Oh, Dak, this is his first NFL game. He played okay. They lost 2019. He was marching them right down the field, right?
Right.
And then what was the next week? Oh, he's got to play his first NFC East road game.
Right.
No big deal. Oh, he's got to play at Lambeau Field. The Cowboys don't win there. No big deal. And we got to play at Pittsburgh. Oh, against that defense. No big deal. So there really hasn't been a big deal at all going through a 15 games. I don't count the last game. And they nearly averaged 28 points a game. Right. So, and same thing for Zeke. So now the question is, now first playoff game. Well, I don't know that anything changes from what we've seen for 17 weeks.
That's why Coach try to keep the routine. It's the same. That's why he don't vary a lot.
Like, we got to have extra practice because, this game's important.
No, just
take Monday off like you take Monday off. Come in here today. We're going to have film work. We'll go out, maybe have a little walkthrough, and then we'll practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
We got to go to break, but Jason touched on that last week when he said, I've looked at old playoff schedules, maybe alluding to what they did 2 years ago, but really I focus on what this team has responded to this year in terms of routine.
Right.
And I don't know what their schedule's like fully this week, but it seems like it's like a regular week.
Yeah.
They get back to practice tomorrow and go through Friday and then leading up to game time on Sunday.
Absolutely.
So let's go to break one more time. We've got a caller holding. 888-855-2297. We'll be back in a second.
Ready? Great pizza, like Papa John's, because they have great ingredients.
Yes, sir. Never frozen.
Vegetables.
Always whole.
The vegetables are great. The pepperoni's great.
Yes.
100% pork and beef. And when you have ingredients that are great, you have great pizza. Papa John's.
Pile them high and deep.
That's right.
Those ingredients. There's my mic.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
That's all right, Dougie. Welcome back to Talkin Cowboys inside the SWBC Mortgage Studio. Had the great Emmitt Smith on for about 25 minutes.
Had the great Nate Newton on for the next 50 minutes.
Wow.
Always.
Let me tell you how we got Emmitt. I walked in, And one of the guys that we work, one of the coworkers walked up and said, "Hey, Emmitt's down there in the studio, man. Go holler at him." I said, "Yeah." I'm guessing we may can get him on the show. And I didn't know what time it was, Then I turn the corner and guess who walks up? Hey, we need to get another guest on the show.
I said, "Get your net out. We got another catch we have to pull in here."
That's Mickey. So
I like the fake Mickey.
yeah, I can't get Mickey as good as anybody else.
That's pretty good.
But I had to calm Mick down. Mick was going to try to make me go interrupt the show. I said, "No, Mickey, let's go down here and fix my pass first to get in my little key card. So let's go over here." So that's why I disrupted for 3 minutes. As soon as we left out of there, "Make sure you bird dog in it." Oh, my God.
And then we lost him. He was hiding in the garrison.
Yes, he was.
We found him in the garrison.
He came walking out with Scott, and it's like, "Oh, we've been looking for you."
Man, he said bird dog, and I'm like, wow, Mick.
I needed to go upstairs. I couldn't wait, and he was taping something before I could ask him. He's getting ready for the game on Sunday.
That's what reporters do, right?
Yeah.
Old-time reporters, they bird dog.
Bird dog and boy.
I wish I had $1 for every time I had to wait for somebody.
Yeah. You probably have a good little.
Yeah, because you got to wait, right?
Yeah.
Can't give up.
Patience is a virtue.
Did you say we had a phone call?
We do. Dougie, who we got?
Yes, you have Mark in California.
California.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Beautiful California, Mark.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I just want to talk about I'm so excited for this upcoming game. I know it's a little early for predictions or whatnot, but I just think, we beat these guys once. I don't see why we can't do it again. I agree with Nate. We need a healthy running game, control the clock with a heavy dose of Zeke, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, until they prove they can stop the running game. I say we stick with it. And on defense, I think we match up pretty well with them, especially if we get our healthy secondary with Mo Claiborne coming back, and I think we match up well against Green Bay's wide receivers, and just contain Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully, try to keep him in the pocket, and get off the field on third downs. All right, guys.
Hey, hold on, young man, don't go nowhere. You still there?
Yeah.
Hey, I hear you, Mo Claiborne, Terrell McClain, big 3 technique, big 1 technique. What you think? We need more Terrell, more McClain. Let me see what you're thinking.
More of Terrell or more of Mo?
More with Terrell. Either way you want to put it.
Well, I think the pass rush does. Help. Will help us in the secondary. So I say both. It'd be awesome to have them both back healthy.
It's a good answer.
But definitely, if we get that D line, that pressure on these guys, with a full rotation of our D linemen with McClain and Irvin coming off the other side, and like I said, just try to keep Rodgers in the pocket, and like I said, try to get off on third down, because if you give them all day to throw, that's all she wrote against Aaron Rodgers. We all know that.
Yeah, and if you do that, you may need to score 40 to win.
If you do that, you better get you some Papa John's.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, Mark, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Yeah, hey, that was a great call.
You know what people need to remember, though?
What's that, sir?
I hear about the running game. In that game at Green Bay, Dak was 18 of 27 for 247, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 117.4 quarterback rating.
Yeah, I think what people be seeing, Mick, is I think what they be trying to say is the balance.
Yeah. And they've been balanced.
And see, and what most of us say, this is a passing league. And so what everybody call balance now, are you in? Run. That's
right.
They don't know how to say, let's keep a balanced game. They just say run.
Because the Packers are coming in with the 31st ranked pass defense, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And they still don't have all their corners back.
You go back to that game, though, I think one reason it was centered on the run game was they had that top-ranked run defense going in. And,
right.
And
yeah, they was only giving up, 1.3 yards a game?
Yeah.
A crack?
Yeah, and hey, they shredded it.
And they averaged,
you know what?
As a team, they averaged, where's the average at? 5.8 a carry.
Oh,
5.8
really?
a carry.
Ask Mickey.
And don't forget,
Bird Dog
Lucky Whitehead had a 26-yard jet sweep.
That's your play, isn't it,
Mick,
man?
If they bring out that jet sweep and we lose a yard, I'm hunting you down. I promise you.
You're going to throw something from above
I'm hunting
at me?
No, I'm hunting you down.
Well, you're going to have to hunt from a long ways.
I hear you because y'all will be.
You got to stay here, right?
Yeah, thank God.
Who else we got on the line,
It's
Doug?
a madhouse at the
You
stadium.
have Chandler in Oklahoma.
Chandler, Oklahoma Chandler.
What's up, guys?
You.
Hey, let me tell you something, Nate. Let me tell you something.
Tell me something.
I think what we have to do, see, Green Bay might be coming in the hot team, but they're also coming in the sore team.
Mm-hmm. That's
I think we have to impose our will physically on them with our offensive line, which has been our trademark all year long. And I think you need to feed that Zeke, who's got fresh legs, about 30 to 35 times, maybe 40 with a couple receptions out of the backfield.
40 carries?
40
touches?
He hasn't played in 3 weeks, and he's 21 years old. Let him run for 300 yards.
Well, let him
on
see
that
22.
suspect Packers D, and keep Aaron Rodgers on the stinking sideline where he can't hurt us.
You might have to mix in a pass every now and then.
That's what he says.
Well,
I see your point. I know your point.
Then also,
we see your point.
I know Brian's mentioned on the
break. Yeah.
About the clog and cover that what we did with Aaron Rodgers in the first game. And I don't know if that would work as well this game because I'm pretty sure they're going to really prepare for that well. So what is your guys' thoughts on maybe trying to go get Rodgers right away, sending 4 or 5 guys, see if we can get to him early, have our offense build that lead a little bit, and then maybe go more clog and cover maybe in the second half, or if we could build a little bit of lead. My last comment is I got a prediction. Usually my gut's pretty good on these things. I usually have a good feeling right at the beginning of the week or not how we're going to do. I thought we'd lose both Giants games, and we did. But this one I think is going to go in our favor. I think everybody's overlooking the Cowboys, and it's kind of being disrespectful. If you ask me, obviously I'm a little biased, but we were the number 1 seed for a reason. And I think the Cowboys win 38-28. And I don't think it's that close. I don't think it's that close of a game.
So, all right, Chandler, way to go.
Hey,
okay, so I want to point this out.
Point it out, Mick.
So the Cowboys, as a team, ran 33 times for 191 yards that first time around against the Packers. Right. 10 of those runs, Zeke and Alfred Morris, by the way, 10 came after the Cowboys were up 27-16. So it took them 18 runs or 23 runs to pile up 27 points. So it's not like they went out there and ran. They ran efficiently. And let's not forget about scoring points. All right, I hear all this running and hog the ball. Yeah, fine, great. You better score some touchdowns against this team because they are going to score.
Well, you could talk to Mickey.
That's right. So come talk to me.
Jason's talked about the ball control before, and it's not about playing keep away out of fear. It's being, like Mickey said, it's being efficient. Usually you're putting together 5, 6, 7 minute drives because you're getting first downs through a variety of different ways, and it's not just all running the ball. And we're talking about, I don't know, this last few minutes, it's like the game plan should be like they've got some game manager at quarterback.
Balance.
Balance is,
Just do what you've been doing.
Yeah, be balanced. Now, the way I would handle Aaron Rodgers, the way I would do it is you either put him on the ground or you get your hands up, but keep him in front of you. Do not miss your sacks. Just putting pressure on Aaron Rodgers. He's nimble enough, evasive enough to get out of the way.
Giants sacked him 5 times. Yeah. How many sacks you think they missed?
they missed
another 5, right?
So if you don't get yourself out of position, you got to sack him. But more importantly, you got David Irvin, you got DeMarcus Lawrence that may be playing this game. You got Benson Mayowa. If you can't get your hands up.
I think we saw that last night, didn't we?
Get your hands up, because if you miss and this kid move out of the way, he got a string on every one of his receivers now. That is what's changed. Whereas before, they couldn't come uncover. Now he's got a string on every one of them. He go to this side, they breaking off routes, and he know right where they at. So
you're almost better forcing him to run the play he called than to let him improvise. You don't go in there and miss him on a sack and open up a gap, especially if that gap is out to the outside. Because once he get out outside them numbers, he's a different cat because he never puts his head down. He never looks down. He's always got his head up.
Let's get one more call, Dougie.
Yeah, we have G-Money.
G-Money.
ATL.
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing today?
What's up, G?
My Tide, Rob. I know you smiling.
I'm
not
smiling.
Don't worry, we'll be back.
I'm not smiling. That's a tough loss for anybody, man. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. Hey, it's all right. We'll be back. We ain't worried about it. Hey, we used to be in the top.
You've had a few good nights. Yeah. Y'all be back.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But hey, I just wanted to say Happy New Year to everybody first of all. I wanted to get into I know the last couple of games that Linehan started throwing the ball a little bit more on first down. Now you think we'll see a little bit more of that against Green Bay? Because it seemed like he was, on first down. Mostly Cowboys are run heavy on first down. Do you think we'll see a little more play action on first down and see a little more of that out there? Because I know, Nate, you was talking about you have to stick to, who you are. But, everybody's going to load the boxes to try to stop Zeke.
That's that wrinkle, bro. That's that wrinkle.
Yeah.
That's that wrinkle.
I got you.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Positive wrinkles. You hear me say, I ain't going to holler jet sweep. I'm going to holler positive wrinkles. Things that you can do that won't massacre you. And,
that's mixed jet sweep,
yeah,
right?
Man, that's mixed jet sweep.
I think he's got a line on Linehan's
but if it's 1st and 10 and you elect to drop back and pass the ball, that would not bother me. They remember at the beginning of the year, our first 2 or 3 games, we opened up with the fake bootleg on the
right, so, fake handout and boot.
Positive wrinkles I'm down with. A jet sweep and don't hand it to Lucky, I'm down with.
Okay, fellas. Hey, y'all have
a
good one, man.
Thanks.
You too. Appreciate the call.
And if you go back and watch the first game, I think I said this yesterday, they nibbled on the edges early.
Yes.
They ran the bootleg a couple times, ran the jet sweep, tossed the ball to Zeke, tossed a little short thing to Cole Beasley, and they nibbled outside to try to loosen them up. And then when they loosened them up, they started going down the field. Cole Beasley had a big game in that.
Yes, he did.
In that game. He was huge. I want to say he had about 8-10 catches, if I remember correctly.
Led the team with 6 for 58 yards and 2 touchdowns.
All right. Well, then it was the touchdowns that I remembered.
Come on, Rob. Get your eyes forward.
My eyes are forward. My eyes are forward towards Wednesday. We're out of time. Went by fast today.
Did you see the headline in the magazine this week?
What did it say?
Eyes forward.
Eyes forward. Hey, tomorrow is our offense versus their defense.
Or we can flip it. What do you guys want to do?
It's on you, Rob.
What have we been doing?
We've been going Cowboys offense first.
All right. Well, then we got to stay consistent.
That's right.
Don't change routines,
Don't change the routine.
All right. Full breakdowns tomorrow. Cowboys
so
offense.
Please don't interrupt Rob tomorrow and say, well, let me get this in first.
Packers
Unless somebody else comes walking through here.
Yeah, we have to stop down for, Hall of Fame guests every now and
then.
Mr. Jones.
Or Mr. Jones.
We need to work on him.
Yes.
Well, maybe we'll save that for the NFC title game.
We'll go balls out with Des.
Always. Doug, thanks for producing.
Sure.
Thanks to the calls.
And in the infamous words of Jerry Jones,
good night and hope you can sleep.
No, sleep tight if you can sleep.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!